यार इश्क में अपना मकाम पैदा कर, नया ज़माना है नई सुबह शाम पैदा कर।
मेरा तरीक अमीरी नहीं फ़कीरी है, मेरा तरीक अमीरी नहीं फ़कीरी है, खुद ही ना बेच गरीबी में नाम पैदा कर।
Dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum. This is Insha Rafiq
This is Zahra Munir.
and you're watching Paramount Podcast. We have invited a special guest today, so we welcome Mr. Shahid sir, who is also the chairperson of the school. And we are going to discuss how to rectify the contemporary education. We welcome you, Mr. Shahid sir.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. So let us start this. Firstly, I would like to ask, what do you think about the modern trends in education?
Thanks for taking this interview and discussing important thing as education. So, in last decade or so, since the advent of AI and many other things which like scientific technologies which have been changing regularly, we have been seeing that a new demand is there for a modern education. Our education policy has also changed recently for especially for this. So NEP 2020 has been changed especially to meet the requirements which will happen primarily after maybe 10 or 20 years. So we don't even know that what is going to happen in 2035, 2040 because the world is changing very fast, technology is changing very fast. There are many people who are estimating that the people who are working today may not be able to work on the same jobs in next 10 years. Maybe 60 to 70% of jobs will change. So all the education systems has to synchronize with this kind of change. So I feel that modern education has to be different from what has been happening. So many new subjects, many new things, many new techniques have been introduced in education. But apart from this, the most important thing where I feel the change is required is to change our system from syllabus-centric or mark-centric system to student-centric and knowledge-centric system. So that is the biggest change I feel the education system has to make.
So the second question will be asked by Hai.
Do you think mobile devices has taken the lead role in education? Is it good decision or not?
Okay, so you are talking about mobile phones. So mobile phones, every new technology, whenever it comes, there are certain booms and banes which are always attached to that. But mobile phone, especially smartphones, I'll not categorize all the phones, but especially smartphones with internet connectivity has attracted a lot of people in terms of both things. There are a lot of positives, there are a lot of negatives, but what I have seen and I feel that there should be a license kind of thing, like we have driving license of 18 years for even for voting or driving a car. I feel that phones should also come with a license of at least 18 years, because I feel that most of the students or most of the teenagers or young students are not able to understand what is right or wrong. And most of the times, when this during COVID era, when online classes started also, we have experienced that 90% of the times students have misused the phone rather than using the phone. I'll say abused also, misused and abused rather than using the phone in the right sense. So I'll not say that everything is bad with technology of mobile phones or everything, but like you have a car, somebody sitting in like on driver's seat should have some kind of maturity before driving that car. Similarly, you need some kind of maturity when you are utilizing that phone. There are psychological, social, mental, financial, every kind of problems we are seeing through because happening through gaming or like even today, like people are into gambling. There are many new websites who are promoting gambling, and students are losing a lot of money also. There are a lot of psychological problems which they are facing. So I feel that using mobile phones for education, it should be used only after 18 years. It should not be used in school. So I'm not at all in favor of using mobile phones for education, especially like in schools, maybe after colleges.
So my third question will be, what according to you are the advantages and disadvantages of Indian education system compared to other foreign countries?
Look, there are different models which are there in different countries, and many would say that Finland has been the best in education all over the world. But what I feel that every country has to devise their own education system, because it has to be customized for their nations. Like most of the European countries and Australia and many other countries are doing good, but we have to see that their population is very less. Their schooling system is controlled mainly by government, and the class size, the teacher student ratio is hardly 10, 15 or 20. Whereas if we'll come to India, we have a very big population out here. The schooling system is not entirely by government, and even the government system is not working properly, what I feel. And even the private school system is also not working perfectly. So there are a lot of things which needs to be like improve. But what I feel that in Indian education system is quite robust, but we should go back to basics. I feel that our basic Gurukul system was much better than what this British education system which we are being following. Here, it's this education system which is currently being run is more derived out of industrial revolution rather than it's a proper education system. So I think we need to customize it, we need to change it. NEP 2020 has taken a lot of steps, but I feel that there is a long journey to take, and there is a lot of scope to change in our education system. I will not say it is perfect, but if right kind of people will come to this sector, and not people who are business driven. We don't need people who are business driven in education. We need people who are education driven in business, in this education system, and only they can change, because people who come with a mindset of doing business with education will always do whatever will earn them money. So they'll not be working in terms of improving the system.
According to me, learning is focused on STEAM, which means science, technology, engineering, arts, and maths. What do you think about this? Is there any field or subject that students should also focus on?
That's what I was talking about, the education system. So this industrialized system has created an education system where people have been divided into different streams, and that is primarily done because it is a job oriented kind of courses. So people who are becoming engineers, doctors, and other things. So there is no academic outlook is available in our education system. Now, you know that in our school we work on multiple intelligences, and so every person is different, every student is different, and everybody has some special kind of talent. So it's not that somebody is good or bad. How this system is like, we have been seeing that somebody who is joining sciences is taken as that he's more intelligent than somebody who's taken commerce, and commerce is taken more intelligent than arts, and arts is considered to be more like a third class dabba, where people from so they have an aspiration to go to AC or first class. So that kind of education system is not good, and I feel that the streams have already been taken care of with NEP talking about no stream education. So now every student can take any subject. So what I feel that a student should decide his journey of education according to his or her capability. Rather, I'll say that the parents have to take that initiative, because students cannot take decision for themselves. Parents are not trained. That is a very big problem. So I think parents should get trained that, especially in the child psychology, they should understand that every person is different. Like if Sachin or Saina Nehwal or PV Sindhu became sports person because their parents were standing with them. They were not forcing them to study or go for higher education. Their focus was sports. So that is why we have Sachin Tendulkar or any other sports person in like within us, or we can see them only because their parents were considerate enough to let them do what they wanted to do. So that kind of system is required. So streams you should not be guided by what streams or what is in fashion. You should be guided what is your strength. If you are good in sports, go for sports. If you are good in paintings, become a painter. If you are good architect, if you want to become an architect, become an architect. Don't think that what is in fashion or what is going on. You should work upon your strength. So if you are a fish, go and swim. Don't try to fly.
How we can change the mindset of our parents, because it is quite difficult to do.
It's not very difficult to do. There are a lot of books which have been written. There are a lot of lectures which are available. So if a student who is in 8th or 9th or 10th, he's smart enough to read these books or understand or take help of teachers to counsel their parents. So if you want to really make your parents understand about these things, so then you should be working in terms of getting knowledge and then convincing them through knowledge. So it is not about that you can debate or fight with them and then you can convince them. No, you have to put all the facts in front of them. You have to take the help of counselors. But parents, counseling parents have been a very difficult task because parents have not been able to understand these things. Education system in our country is like that many parents are not even well educated. So schools have to take that responsibility. I feel teachers have to take that responsibility instead of students. So teachers should slowly guide their parents and make them understand that how different things. But for that we need good teachers also. So we need trained teachers. We don't need just people who are just looking for a job. We need teachers who are really interested in this profession.
Oh, but it's quite difficult to find those teachers nowadays.
It is very difficult because teaching is not a very lucrative job. Most of the private schools are not giving enough salaries to teachers because their fees are also limited. Government teachers, I will not like to say much, but government teachers are not teaching their students in their own schools. So that says a lot about it. So if they were confident about their teaching, most of the government teachers kids would have been studying in their own school, but that is not happening. So they should also think about it. So that is the main reason that people who are becoming doctors or engineers are putting DR and ER in front of them, but teachers are still not putting TR in front of them. So teachers are not proud of it. Most of the teachers are by chance. They are not by choice. Passion is not there, and money is not there. So that is why we are not getting that kind of teachers. So government should like focus on these things. Especially government teachers are getting good salaries, but somehow the motivation level is less. I don't know how government is going to change. But government even don't take people like us in confidence in terms of these things. That things can be improved, but it's a sad state of affairs. But people who are really interested in changing things are doing their own bits, like we are doing our own bit. So whatever is happening, maybe less is positive, because slowly it will change because times are changing.
So, do you think our education system is outdated or there should be change?
Yeah, it is outdated. In fact, teaching is outdated. Look, teaching was based on all information dissemination. So teacher used to buy information for his life, like or around 15-20 years, and then he used to sell this information. So now information is available free of cost. So the whole internet, books, every library and everything is available. So students are not dependent upon teachers for information. So this education system is still based on teaching, and that is the problem. So this system has to change. NEP, again, I'll say that has done something, but more has to be done. Like I believe now there is time for trainers and mentors rather than teachers. So we need teachers who can train, or we need trainers who can train in English rather than teach in English, or who can train students in science rather than teach them science. So outdated systems will produce outdated people. So that is why corporate is saying that only 3% of students are employable. Graduates, there was a survey that almost 80% of graduates cannot write an application. So we are producing an outdated kind of youth force. So we need to change as soon as possible. And you are very correct that our education system has outdated.
So, what according to you is the best way to improve education in India? What is the main problem in it?
The main problem, I told you that the main problem is of mindset. The industrial revolution system created this kind of education system, and then people who are into this business want this kind of business to continue because they don't want to change, because then if they have to change, a lot of new things have to be built. So they are not interested in doing that. Now people who have big investments in this are only businessmen. Educationists are very less. So that is the biggest problem, that people who really know education don't have the control over education. Then government policies have been very, very slow. So NEP 2020 came in 2020, but still the curriculum frameworks of different classes are still not coming. It is not getting implemented very fast. Teachers have not been trained, and NEP 2020 is still way beyond what exactly we require. So you were asking that how we can change. We have to change we have to change our mindset first, that why we are teaching our students or why we are sending our kids to school. That is the basic question. So the whole system is still syllabus centric, on mark centric. The system has to come like knowledge centric system has to come in front. Knowledge has to become the main thing in education, and that is the biggest change that will happen. So the people who are like in 10th or 12th class, they should have knowledge which should be relevant to that class. So we have engineers, civil engineers who cannot build houses. We have electrical engineers who cannot do anything. So they are passing degrees. So this degree system has to go away and knowledge system has to come.
So do you think our system is corrupted? That's why it is not implementing as fast as it should be?
Yeah, corruption. Normally people think that corruption is giving bribe and taking bribes. It is not about that. Corruption is about not working also, or not being honest with the system. So most of the teachers are not even working hard. They are not even studying child psychology. They are not putting their efforts. Schools administrations are working only in terms of revenue and other things. So they are not thinking about anything else. So yes, there is a lot of corruption. It is not about that only government employees can do corruptions. Even private schools, private organizations can be part of corruption. And it is not just about money corruption. It is about ethical corruption. It is about intellectual corruption. So we have a lot of corruption. That is why the system is not moving.
How we can overcome it? What are the ways which we can follow to overcome it?
I have a lot of hopes from our future generation, because this generation or my generation has already failed. So I want to train my new generation to do something new or do something right, because the older generation has failed. We have not been able to produce world-class education system, and there are a lot of people who will think that okay, there are a lot of big universities and other things, but what have they produced? They have produced mainly degrees. So we also have a lot of universities in our state, But what have they produced? Like if I have to take an interview, I have to take almost 100 interviews for one candidate. So students who are coming, who are PGs, who are PhDs, are not even fit enough for their own subject. So I think lot can be changed, but the youth has to think that now they have to do away with this kind of mindset that they will study only for degree. Youth has to decide that now they will study only for knowledge, and degree is just a matter of time that they will get it, but the knowledge has to come in forefront, and that is the only way we can change and stop this system.
So if someone is having knowledge but not the degree, in our school, that person will be selected or not? What do you think?
There are some basic degrees which are required. That is how the world is working in past, but that has changed. Now Google, Facebook, and many other big companies are not even looking for degrees. If you have knowledge, then you are in. If you have degree but you don't have knowledge, like somebody will come to me and will say that okay, I have a degree in English speaking, and he cannot speak English, so that degree is useless. Like just yesterday I met a gardener and his knowledge was more than my botany teacher, so I thought that I will bring him for lecture. So I think his degree doesn't matter because he knows more about plants than my botany teacher, so be it. So I would like to have those kind of people involved in teaching my kids, rather than degree holders who can't like differentiate between the leaves of apple or mango.
Do you think students have unhealthy competition nowadays?
Due to which they are committing suicide?
It's not about unhealthy competition. I told you that every student is different, every person is different. So because most of our society and its primarily education system is doing nothing with in terms of child psychology, understanding child. Every person is different. Like if somebody has a low intrapersonal or low interpersonal or high intrapersonal, so he doesn't know that how these things are working. So somebody who can become a good sports person, we are pushing them for becoming a doctor. If somebody is good in arts, we are pushing them for degrees in commerce or MBA or other things. So automatically they cannot handle that pressure. So it is not the problem of these kids that they are committing suicides or they are into drug addiction. The primary responsibility goes to parents and teachers. So I always say that if your garden is ruined, it is because of the gardener and not because of the flowers, because it is the responsibility of the gardener that the garden is blooming and blossoming. So I feel that both parents and teachers have failed the kids. Parents are not trained, okay, fine, but teachers are considered to be trained. Many B.Ed teachers are there, but they are again also getting only degrees. That is what I was telling you earlier also, that we are getting only degrees. So these trained teachers should be training our parents, but that is not happening. So, and that is the biggest problem. So problems are not kids, problems are only parents and teachers.
Recently I saw a news. A boy committed suicide because he got around 80%, and his father scolded him a lot. Then he committed suicide. What message would you give to those parents who are pressurizing their children?
My message to those parents is only that you should not have taken this responsibility if you have not understood your child. I know that would sound very harsh, but I would say that the parents should not become parents if they are not trained to become parents. So we don't even give our mobile phones to untrained technicians, but we are giving children to untrained parents, and that is the tragedy, because they don't understand the strengths and weaknesses of their kids. They don't understand education, they don't understand child psychology, and that is the reason the kids are like getting into drugs and suicide and all those things. It's tragic, but the prime responsibility is yours. It is not the problem of the kid, it is your problem. and parents have to understand that it's a big responsibility, which when they are deciding to become parents, they should become parents only if they are trained. Otherwise, for some people will say that I am becoming very harsh on this, but that is what I feel, and that is what I will say.
So I would like to thank you, and thank you viewers for watching this, and stay tuned for more.